Day 85, Tabasco Factory and New Orleans. So the day started around the town of New Iberia, Louisiana, where I wanted to tour the Tabasco factory. I like spicy stuff. My husband and my son are crazy about it and they love Tabasco. So when I realized I'm not far from the actual factory, it was obvious that I'm going to visit it. And when you read on the labels of the bottles that it's made on Avery Island, Louisiana, well, guess what? The Avery Island is not an island at all. It's a salt dome and it towers about 400 feet as opposed to the regular Louisiana 100 feet above sea level, and that's why it's called an island, but it's not an actual island. So they have a very nice museum that tells you the story of Edward McIlhenny, who was the guy who invented Tabasco. And supposedly, necessity, as always, is the mother of invention. He went to a restaurant and he asked for spicy peppers and he was told they were not in season. And he said, I wish you could just bottle them and use them whenever you want to. And that was the birth of his idea for the sauce. And he married the heiress of the family who owned Avery Island. So the business is still in the family all these years later. And so you tour the grounds and then you see the greenhouse where they're working on growing and developing new sorts of peppers, and the barrel museums, and they explain how the barrels are made. And then the part where the ground peppers are pickled with salt and with vinegar. You can't see the actual production line because of COVID. And then you see the replica of the salt mine because the salt from Avery Island is used in the production process. And a great deal is dedicated to Tabasco sauce in popular culture, and apparently it is a big deal. And it is also the official spice sauce by a concession to Her Majesty Queen of England, so that was very cute. And then the ticket also includes a visit to the grounds of the house and the mansion of the McIlhenny family. And there are signs all over to beware of gators. So I just drove around and did not get out of the car. But the grounds are very nice. It has lakes and ponds and beautiful trees like the southern oaks with the Spanish moss hanging down from them. And I saw this bird and I stopped, and for a couple of minutes I was just looking at it, trying to figure out if it's a real one or not. And then it moved to snatch a frog from the pond, and I was like, okay, that's a real bird. So overall, the Tabasco factory and the drive around the beautiful garden are very nice, except that it was the middle of October and the end of October, and it was hot and humid, and I can't even imagine what it must be like in the summer. And then the road continues. It takes you over a couple of bridges over the mighty Mississippi. And I got to New Orleans. And that was pretty much a replay of my Denver experience, where I looked forward so much to exploring the city. And it turned out to be completely not what I expected, and pretty much a disappointment. So besides the heat and the humidity, the whole city is in repairs, so you can't park anywhere. And I wanted to take a ferry over the river, and they moved the station. So I can't really be complaining, because after all the destruction that it went through with all the hurricanes, and it's just trying to get back onto its feet. But then even in the evening, when I was walking down the famous Bourbon Street, it just had the vibe of a whole bunch of horny adults desperately and quite pathetically trying to recapture the glory days of their college spring break. And the jazz wasn't all that it was made out to be. And the famous gumbo is nothing but just a thick stew with meat and a bunch of rice. And the famous beignet is just fried donut dough, just not in the shape of a donut. So overall, I did not get a good vibe from New Orleans. And for me, it turned out to completely not be what everyone was talking about and praising. And the other weird thing in New Orleans was that I had to go through 4 gyms of my Anytime Fitness chain until I found one with a shower. And I don't understand whether it's just a local thing or something else, but how can you freaking have a gym with no shower? So yeah, that was my underwhelming experience in New Orleans. And I guess I'm gonna just let you see some of the music and decide for yourself if it was worth it or not.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. And all the birds hold my hand.